Hi, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday marketing call. My name's Lee Honish, and I am joined by Fred Solomon. How are you today, Fred?
I'm good, Lee. I'm doing really good, actually.
Outstanding. This is one of three weekly coaching calls that we do. The first one is marketing, the second one is on the market, and the third one is on conversion. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about the program itself. But I'm going to just sort of open this up and hear what people want to say. I am more than happy to. I got this. So for the entire group, I got the transcripts back from. You got to be joking. All right, let's try that again. I like my video. I, this camera, the most expensive one. I got the transcripts back from the script we did 2 weeks ago. So I'll be sending that out. The front page of the website should be updated today. So please get involved and please use that front page. You are on page one of Google. And for those of you that haven't scheduled for your red conversations, please click the link and schedule your 30-minute for this week. And there are 3 or 4 people that I'm doing brand new one-on-ones with this week. So that's exciting. And as I said to this group, I will say it again. If you're watching the video, our red program has one spot open. If you want to do it for a year, the link is for a year that we have available. But most of the people want to come back after the first of the year. So I might be willing to just take people for half a year. It's still a ton of content to record and plenty for you to work with. And oh, leads. Yeah, you guys were asking about leads. I will get all the leads done and out by tomorrow. I might solicit help. I've had someone offer to pull leads for me, and I might have to actually do that. I'm juggling a lot of balls at the moment. With that, Fred, what's up with you?
Just more marketing stuff that I've been doing, and it's always all about creating traction, getting responses, getting interaction on social media, and that has been my forte. And I try different things every day. It's always about information and good content. And I had a few things that was talking about in the yesterday, and the one that I thought was going to create the most amount of traction actually got the least amount of traction.
Yeah, that's the
So,
way it always works. That's a truism. I can
right.
tell you, I can tell you there are things that I have thought that I was completely wrong about.
And I don't know exactly which ones got the most views. I I'm looking for viewership, and I'm looking for responses.
Right.
So interaction, and doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to get the most amount of views. If you have a lot of interaction, you might have a lot of views but very little interaction, and that happens a lot with me because I have a client just called me up. um, uh, Ivan Mark Flores, I'm sure you know who he is.
Yes, absolutely.
He's joining my company, or already has joined my company, and he and I were talking about my fix up the home thing, that I do, for people that need to fix up their properties after we go show them houses in their neighborhood that are for sale. They realize, oh, we need to fix up the house. So I had a client call me on that, and they said, hey, Fred, I saw your video on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it was a previous client of mine. So, that was a good feeling. I get those calls a lot, but what I'm trying to do, I get those a lot for mortgages. What I'm trying to do is get them a lot for real estate. So I've just started getting those calls, and I was doing that marketing over the last 2 weeks, but they don't call you right away. So I got my first call yesterday, and I was excited about it because she goes, my house needs a little fixing up before we sell it. No comments. I had over 3,000 views on the video. That I did have, but no calls, no comments. I got my first call yesterday. So that was exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think and for people who don't get it, let me show the back end of Home Advocates. So when you do a business page, there's a huge difference. It'll tell you the number of people you reached, how many links they clicked, the overall engagement rates. It's okay. I mean, one comment, 3 shares. This is from whatever that we did this at the first of the month, right? This was our marketing call. Some are great, some are not. I mean, some do better than others. I honestly, having done Red now for quite a while and dealt with this kind of stuff and looked for algorithms, it is people reached, post engagements, and page likes. That's their metrics,
Right.
and that's really all it comes down to. It isn't even comments. They don't really see that because there are too many bots out there, is what I suspect. I just know it from our actual website. Like Home Advocates, the website is literally slammed on a daily basis by bots because of the amount of traffic we get. So there's a pop-up for those of you who don't know. When you go, let me do it in incognito mode. When you come to the website the first time, there's a pop-up box that happens on the right-hand side. There it is. And this gets filled out by bots all the time, constantly. It's actually kind of ridiculous. And they're able to comment at the bottom of the, like, I don't know if you can stop that. I just don't know if you can stop that. It's a weird thing. And yeah, I agree with you. I wish I kind of knew. I know it's about trending topics. I know it's about engagements. But the algorithms change so frequently that one week you can't do it, the next week you can do it. One week this should be tied in to, right? So the truth at this moment, this Zoom call, probably, since I don't have sound on, thank goodness. I'd hate the feedback. So this is being zoomed out right now. I don't know how many people this is being exposed to. Now, if I'd done this on Home Advocates, I'd have an idea of how many people it would be zoomed out to. Now, I put up what the topic is, but if I change the topic to recession marketing, would it have a better response? Would a hashtag recession, right? That's going to be a trending topic here. It already is. Hashtag recession marketing. Is that going to give it a greater exposure?
I like that topic.
I do too. You know what? Let's change it and see if it changes the rate while we're talking about this. It's a great topic, right? I know that you have to create video content. That is not even a debate. I know that you got to pay for Google on some level. I'm doing it. I'm doing it for Terrell as a test. I'm doing it for my boxing show. Wait, let's change this. Weekly Home Advocates Marketing. Hashtag. Let's see if it comes up. Of course. It's at 131. It's not really trending. Let's try hashtag marketing. And there's something to be said about this too. I don't know how many people are really hashtag searching. I really don't. I know that you really do need to put in your location. That is a big deal. It is really important to tag people and try to share it. And it's one of the reasons why I carry 2 full-blown profiles that are both full of people that are real people, and then save it. No, I don't want to share it with just friends. Why is it just sharing with friends? No. I want this public. Always public. All my posts are public. Do you check that?
I always put public too.
Yeah. I don't mind. I'm sure there are plenty of people who are checking up on me and doing that whole bit. So that would be the best setup. Now, once this is done, Chandra, thank you for the thumbs up, pal. Very nice. Um, so my next move from here would be, so you run this out, right? Once it runs out the content, and make sure that you hit the topics. I would turn around and I would put it into the groups that we've talked about before. We've talked about this a million times, right? I can share it right now into groups. For the sake of discussion, I'll use realtor groups. We haven't talked about how to do this in a long time, Fred. Here you
Yeah.
go. Agent Centric's tips. Just post. That's it.
And I have a couple topics that I can share with some people, or some content that I can share with some people that they can put into the Facebook groups
Absolutely.
to create some activity.
Absolutely. I would love
So
to hear
what?
it.
Okay. So the one that I thought was going to get the most amount of response actually got the least amount of response, but it's the best information that I wrote yesterday, and I always come up with things that are impactful, and I'll read it to you. It's about, I don't know, 60 seconds long.
Go for it.
So, and I can share this with anybody who's interested.
I've got it up on the screen too, I think.
A very sad story about death. It
Oh,
was a little bit further down.
interest rates. Oh, there you go. Go for
A
it, Fred.
very sad story about death. Some children who wanted nothing to do with their father and are getting a lot of money, and the father's delayed decision about not getting a will or living trust. So I'm talking with someone today, or yesterday, that is, and she tells me the whole story about her father, how he passed away in a tragic car accident 2 years ago. Her siblings, half brothers and real sisters, from their father's previous marriage, her mom not being on title to the homes that they owned together, and some wrong people ended up getting some money when they absolutely had no relationship with their dad. So this obviously affects the kids of the current of her mother, that should be getting something, that she will be getting something, but not as much as they had anticipated. So in the end, the wrong people are getting money, the kids that wanted nothing to do with their father. The kids who deserve the money are only going to see 33% of that money after their mom transitions. The mom has been dealing with attorneys for the last 2 years since her husband died in the automobile crash. It is such a sad situation. She's really tired. She hasn't had any time to mourn the loss of her husband, and she has so much stress from all the attorneys. How do you stop this insanity from happening in your family? Get a will and living trust. The crazy thing is that I just got off the phone talking about I got off the phone with another client talking about a reverse mortgage. The client needed to take money out of their primary residence to sell the property, or sell the property because they needed to pay off family members for their portion of the judge order equity buyout. She didn't qualify for a first mortgage because she never worked. And most importantly, she didn't want to sell her home, which is what most happen to most people when they're in loan modifications or when they're in foreclosure. We always deal with people who do not want to sell or leave their home, right?
Absolutely.
So, so where did I leave them? So the mom needs to take some cash out to pay off the father's kids from a previous marriage because of no will and trust. The reverse mortgage is the only solution if you do not qualify for a refi or a HELOC.
Yep.
That will allow the mom to keep the home and not have to make a payment, and will also pay off the family relatives with some of the equity because of the death. So it's a super sad situation. And I said, is the point clear? The kids who are getting the money never spoke to their dad. The kids that were there for their dad are only getting what the mom leaves them after she transitions. The mom should have gotten 100% of the equity in the properties, kept them, but now she's forced to sell the rental properties and is only getting 33% because of a judge's decision in probate court and because of no will or living trust. This is the second crazy story I've had like this in the last few months. Did you get the memo? Get a living trust and a will.
All right. So my question would be, Fred, if you had recorded that as a heartfelt video, would it have done better?
Probably.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That's my only comment. It's super easy to sit down and just kick one of these out. It really is.
Oh, I agree. I was trying to get the person who had the situation happen to them to talk to me about it on video, and it's too sore of a subject to do that.
Yeah, completely. Well, just 9 hours ago, you got way more action. Now, there's something to be said about length of article as well, right? So if you're going to type something, it better be eye-catching on that first line. It really should be. Have I talked about this before? There's something called the fold line. There's a fold line on your posts. You don't get your entire post up. So you only get this much space, and then it says see more. My question is always, whatever you're going to put in those first 4 lines, generally I only put 4 or 5 lines of content. That's all you're going to get, period. And strangely, this one grabbed more. Probably because it was a $3.1 million home. Probably. That was probably the eye catch. Plus, he used emojis. That was very good. Very good, Fred. Very good. Eye catching.
Yeah, that one I got a good response from. And that was not the one that I thought would give me the best response.
Right.
And I literally tried to talk myself out of the cell. Like, I'm like, to my client, grab your popcorn. Just wait for 6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
I think prices are going to come down 10 or 20%.
Yep.
You can buy a similar home for 2.4 instead of 3.1 with no competitors.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree.
That's what I told him. And he goes, Fred, I really appreciate you. And I actually agree with you. But this is our family's choice. This is what we see as our dream home. God bless them. God bless them. With people with money, they don't care. They don't care. They're going to buy what they want to buy. Simple as that. And so I'm trying to, give him my 2 cents, but the guy's not dumb. He's in commercial real estate. He knows what he's doing. He's been a client of mine for 20 years. And finally he says, Fred, quit talking yourself out of a cell.
Right.
And I'm like, shit.
Yeah, no, and I completely agree, right? Look, the knock on me is always being too honest, right? Well, you're hurting yourself, I guess, but it's true to who I am. This is what I believe, and this is how I believe it, and this is why I believe it. I'm not one of those crazy people who thinks things. I see it all the time on YouTube. There is a constant stream of people trying to predict things they think. And what has been amazing, especially talking about recession and market crash, there is a tiny handful of people that have been talking about it at the same length of time I've been talking about it. It didn't ever change my mind on the topic, especially working specifically with pre-foreclosure properties, right? And by the way, if you want information on that, go to homeadvocates.io. Little pop-up will happen on the screen. I'll be notified. We do 3 coaching calls a week. We occasionally put these on Facebook. Tomorrow we'll be talking about the market specifically because, oh, we are in a TikTok mode. All I've managed to do while being sick for the last couple of weeks is stare idly at the news. I love the distraction with the hearings. I love it. I really do. And people worrying about the midterm elections. I love it. But here's another marketing tip. If Congress is going on vacation this weekend, are they not? For the summer. Like we're a week away from Congress's vacation. That means that there is no government bailout for pre-foreclosure people. Like there's no stimulus check coming. These are things you need to know about the market when you're targeting a specific group of people. I don't even think it matters what the topic is. You're up to date on the topic. You gave good advice. I'm surprised that Sally Ellis, of course, commented because that's what Sally does for a living. We talk about it weekly. It's good advice. I don't know if people want good advice or if I keep saying it, fear sells. That's the weird part. Fear sells. And what I find interesting about this, particularly from a marketing standpoint, is it's sad. I don't know if that would draw people in. And it's a story about death. I don't know if maybe it's too close for people. As compared to, I sold a $3.1 million house today, right? And that's the one that blew up, and that one's half the age of the other post.
The craziest thing about that is that I understand why he's doing it, because with my condo in Hawaii, I'm never going to sell it, right? I don't care if it goes up in value. I don't care if it goes down in value, backwards, forwards, sideways. I don't care what happens to the value of the property. I'm not selling it. I've owned it since 2005, 17 years. And my goal, as soon as my son goes to college, I'm going to go spend a couple months a year over in Hawaii so I can, I'm not going to be seeing my son. So,
right.
My goal is
exactly the same answer I have about my daughter. I'm like, looks like a Disneyland trip and that's about it.
Right. And it's going to be a tough time. I mean, I've been being prepared for this time, meaning that, I only get to see my son about 30% of the time anyway. So it's not going to be too much different than right now. But I really do look forward to the times that I'm able to see my son every other weekend and half of the summertime. Well, who knows what's going to happen during the summertime when he comes home from college? He may
want to go see friends. You will never know. You don't know if he wants to see friends. You don't know if they want to stay at college. You won't know. You won't know.
So whatever is going to happen, I'm prepared for the worst mentally. But I still got 2 more years, so I'm good.
I have maybe 2 more weeks.
Then you're going to BYU.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. There's part of me that wants to go back to my little hole in Oceanside, and there's part of me that wants to go to Vegas. There's offers to go to Northern California. There are a lot of options on the table. They're all great options. They are all fantastic options, but I'm going to have to make a decision here in the next couple of weeks and prepare for it. And I knew about it. I watched it happen, and I was slow to act. And of course, my life, and this is the truth about life. This is an interesting thing about life. And I hope everybody notices this. Let me stop sharing. Stop sharing. Hey, stop share. It'll bring me back up. I would say this to everybody, and I've learned this. Life will decide for you if you don't make a choice. I'm being forced into choices. My business model has changed. I have to get new partners, and I have to work with new people, and I have to go in a different direction because of a set of circumstances. That was always going to happen once I moved wherever I moved. I'm tired of downtown San Diego. I've been tired of it and the homeless thing for quite a while. It's just simply out of control, and they're not going to do anything about it. They're not. And it's only going to get worse. People are leaving the city quicker than they're coming into the city. And the prices are still through the roof because investors are buying them up because people want to come here during the summer. This is, it's weird here. And I'm kind of over it in a strange way. It always feels like a struggle. Didn't make a choice. Had change of events with a business partner and then another business partner. So conditions change, right? I didn't take action. I didn't make a definitive action. Life decided for me. And usually it's my opinion that life will show you the direction you're supposed to take. So far, as long as I don't force the decision, I will have something open up and present itself. At least I feel lucky enough to say that out loud.
Well, um, I had an uncle die, and what it does is it gives you perception and changes your thought process. So I would recommend learning to appreciate things and be thankful for what you do have rather than what you have missed along the way. Be around good people, surround yourself around good people. I would recommend being appreciative and thankful as a normal routine, just like drinking a cup of coffee every morning. That's my opinion. That's what's helping me. I went to the Colorado River over the weekend to be around people. And the reason I did that was because I think that is a good healer. And I didn't tell anybody that my uncle died. I just needed to be around people because I came home, and I just want people to understand how I saw it and what I did, because everybody goes through the feeling of death differently. But when I came home the day before my uncle died, I was perfectly fine. I had come home by myself and I lived by myself, and I get my son every other weekend, but I pretty much live by myself, and I'm being very selective who I bring into my life again, because I've had some bad luck in those areas. But keeping on the single side of things, I said to myself, I'm single. I'm okay coming home by myself. I've been doing it for 2.5 years. No big deal. The next day after my uncle died, I came home single by myself, just like I did the day before. But what happened? There were a change of circumstances, and that was that my uncle passed away, and I felt totally lonely. Lonely, like to a very high level of loneliness. The circumstances were exactly the same from the day before. I came home alone both days. One day someone passes away. The day before, no one passed away. I mean, I knew my uncle was dying, but as soon as you hear the words, he's gone, then it changes your whole way of thinking.
Yeah, and there's no do-overs. In this life, there are no do-overs. There aren't. I mean, I think we'd like to all believe that they can hear us from the other side. We don't know that. We don't know anything. We are literally insignificant fleas on the top of a planet surrounded by stars. Our brains can't even conceive of life beyond our life. So it's really tough.
I saw this Facebook post from a realtor friend of mine. I thought it was genius. And it's very much in tune with what you do, Lee. And I think you'll enjoy this one. They put a conversation, a picture of Johnny Depp and Amber. Okay. And this is how this is what her Facebook post said. Bombshell, right? That was their first words, right? And then it says, the conversation between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard at the end of the trial has been leaked. The transcription reads as follows. Heard, I guess, I don't know who Heard. Oh, that's Amber. Yeah, Heard says, Johnny, hey, can you turn around and look at me? Depp, Johnny, bows his head. Heard says, "Let's talk, Johnny. Talk to me." Depp says, turns to his lawyer, and his lawyer shakes her head. Heard says, "I have something to talk to you about." Depp says, with his head still down, "I have nothing to talk to you about." Heard says, "Please look at me." Depp says, "Goodbye, Amber." Heard says, "Tell me something, Johnny. Do you still love me?" Depp keeps quiet. Heard says, "Do you still love me, Johnny?" Depp lifts his head, looks her straight in the eyes, and says, "Amber, this might be the last time we ever speak. So please listen to me very carefully. If you want to sell your home,
Right.
call so and so at this phone number." I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, so the gambit, I guess, for when you're especially doing digital marketing, and for any of you, please do it. I please do it. If you're not going to do the red program, do something. Please use the videos that I give you. Please send them to your clients. I like that. Will the yeah, I would even use the current trial. I would use any of that. Trump's changing the value of real estate. Oh my God. Can you imagine the click rate on that? If I change this video to Trump change the value of real estate. What do you think, Fred? Would I even have to try that hard?
I don't know. I I like to experiment with things, and I like to just to try things. I don't use those kinds of stories. I use personal stories that have happened to me when I'm in the war field. You know, when I'm fighting the fight. I use those stories, but I'm not saying that wouldn't work because I have a feeling it would. So you don't know until you find out.
Yeah, you really don't. You really don't. And the world is so polarized on certain topics that you have to be very careful. But if you give me yeah, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard changed the value of real estate. Click here. Just be honest into the screen. No, they didn't. And but the market's red hot and you're losing out on your equity. We're at the top of the market. Please take action. Click the link below. Click like share. And that's the other thing. Click like share. I've learned this along the way. And people I shoot video for know this. I say it at least twice. Click like share is really important. Tell somebody to take the action. Hey, subscribe, follow me, like me. It's important. It changes the algorithm. It increases the investment that I put into the marketing of those videos when people get them by saying those simple words. Having multiple ways of communicating is hugely important, right? Here's my 800 number. Here's my cell phone number. Here's an email address. Can't remember that. Type in the word home advocate, scroll down. There's my info. The more information, the better. And that's really, really what's important, especially when you're doing that kind of marketing. Anything you'd like to add before I stop this Facebook Live thing? In fact, I'm going to stop Facebook. Facebook Live people, please join Home Advocates. Go to homeadvocates.io.